Welcome everyone once again to Zelda Speedruns. Today is a very special restream on us because it's my birthday today. Huzzah! It's also the Link to the Past Cross Keys Tournament qualifier number 11 this time round. And commentating for us today we've got Cool Papa Bell and we've also got Dr. Bob Tastic. Hi guys.
Happy
Hello.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Din. Happy birthday to you.
Eee.
You didn't warn me, so I had to pull something out of my rear end. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zelda Speedruns. This is Cross Key Tournament once again. Qualifying match number 10?
Number 11.
Bunch of these. 11. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're doing 14 in total, and then it's on to bracket stages after that, I believe. Also, I'm just going to have a little tweak at the streams here because they're not quite aligned, so give me a moment just to sort that out. Shouldn't take too long.
So, Dr. Bob, are you hoping for a troll seed or a jet seed today?
I like what Amazing Ambrose typed in chat a little earlier. The seed in the middle of the difficulty spectrum with a little bit of a few obscure logic things thrown in. I'm on board with that.
Also, thank you everyone in chat for wishing happy birthday. Means a lot.
Yeah, I'm going to call for having to defeat Aga 1 to open the vanilla Aga 1 entrance. That would be good.
Yeah. I remember when that confused the living snot out of me one time. It was great. I'm pretty sure I ended up sequence breaking around it.
That's always the best approach.
Yeah, it seems like a sensible thing to do when faced with something like that.
So, as always, Cross Keys is designed to just mess with your head in general. It's the sort of thing where you really kind of have to keep track of everywhere you've gone because I guarantee you will be going back in there most of the time. So many different places. Like you'll run across a Mimic Cave, you're like, oh, I don't have a hammer, so I have to come back. And then 3 hours later, you'll be like, oh, right, Mimic Cave. That's a thing.
Yeah, the note-taking becomes really important, and then you'll see runners do a lot of things like early Houlihan, stuff like that. So like when you stumble across a bomb shop, you have 50 rupees to buy the bombs, so that you're as prepared as possible, because you never know when you're going to stumble across an important location.
Yeah, and the early money also helps being able to get that bottle vendor item, which I'm not going to lie, might have caused me to go 5 hours one time. It's great.
Yeah, I always wind up going back to the bottle vendor about 3 times just to make sure I've really gotten the item. All right, we'll just start off with a flute in Link's house.
Okay. And looks like we had the map of ice, I guess. Oh, Sanctuary is at the well today, so we may see some, or not the well, the Lumberjack Cave. So we may see some stealing of keys. There's Ice Rod Cave at Lake Hylia North Shore, plus the Checkerboard Cave in Lumberjack Hut.
Yeah, that's not too bad of a drop down to have at Lumberjack, since once we find Hyrule Castle, you can get to those items from the front. You'd prefer not to, but it's certainly better than having to beat Aga 1. Meanwhile, finding the Laser Bridge entrance to Turtle Rock there at the Lost Woods gambling game.
Yeah, and that is a bit of a tall order at this point, having to do bootless laser skips on 3 hearts. I'm like, I'm probably going to die a lot. And speaking of pod keys, we got a small one in the woods and a large one in Cave 45 in the good old Lake Hylia shop. So,
And the Lost Woods drop down is going to take us to the Secret Passage and Uncle. Seed's being very generous with giving us item locations right off the bat, so that's nice. The Desert Palace Big Key on the Uncle.
and bees!
Everybody loves bees.
Not the bees. All right.
Once again, that's definitely nice, though, to find that bottle right away. So whenever in the world you stumble across Sick Kid, you can turn that fetch quest in right away. Ganon's Tower at the Kakariko Village Fortune Teller. Which Raymond is going to go ahead and dip into the first couple of chests right now. Just going to check out Hope Room, since that's all we can do with our current equipment.
There's a chance he goes and looks at what's on the torch. Speaking of boothless laser skips, Hykertype getting in there, getting those things done. Of course, the logic for this still requiring some sort of invincibility item or the mirror shield.
Iframes seem like an invincibility item, right?
Yeah, something like that. Problem is, with green mail, if you get hit by a laser, you just dead on 3 hearts. You just straight up dead. It's 4 hearts of damage. Small key to desert. And we know where the big key is, too. That's really, really interesting.
Yeah, that's also interesting logically to keep track of, because that's a pretty hefty requirement for that chest actually being in logic, either an invincibility item or the mirror. Meanwhile, Raymond finding the big bomb shop in the Long Hut in Kakariko Village. Ooh, in the back of Skull Woods. 1 chest accessible there right now.
And taking the quick death to get right on out of there.
I was going to point out, we also found the compass for Palace of Darkness, so the seed seems to be pointing us in that direction pretty clearly so far. We'll see if we can find it anytime soon.
And we've got our Ganon drop in the well. A little bit of a pain because it's one of the places you'd like to have available immediately, but at least it makes the final Ganon, once you've got the crystals, makes it real quick to get out of there.
Yeah, plus you're almost guaranteed that there's going to be a dungeon entrance somewhere in Kakariko, so, just do that one last, and then head right to Ganon. Hykertype is going to show us that torch item in Ganon's Tower. Just a map. Meanwhile, Raymond taking advantage of...
Yeah, exactly.
Some rupee farming, I was going to say.
Yeah, neither runner opting for the Houlihan route today, which is the first I've seen of that.
Yeah, especially with that very common fake flippers opening where you head up to the potion shop entrance and then check out the drop down and then do the Houlihan from there.
Right, well, there's a big key to Swamp for Raymond in the Sick Kid, or no, why can't I words? It's the Chicken Hut, that place.
Words are hard, man. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, and I don't know if we pointed this out yet, but we did find the dam, which is very important.
Yeah, so in entrance randomizer now, swamp will be ready to go into whenever we find it. That it will stay flooded. Of course, once we
Unfortunately,
have
it does kind of lock us
flippers.
out of that hint without the flippers. Speaking of crystals, we find out that Swamp and Eastern are our 5/6 crystal.
Yeah, interestingly, Raymond did not talk to the big bomb shop guy when he found that one, so he does not quite have that information yet.
And looks like we have Vanilla Magic Bat today.
And meanwhile, Raymond found one of the hints that's now in the new locations for hints. That Magic Bat leads to the shovel, so we have a chain of fetch quests going on in this
Fun
seed.
times. And it looks like we had a dark room at the blacksmith's house. And speaking of another hint, big key to Eastern is in Swamp. Now, if you'll indulge me for a moment. Has anyone ever told you about this rando mode? It must be very bold if you will win. But if you are like me, then you will certainly be very incessantly debated again.
Very nice. Ooh, meanwhile, we find Blind's hut at the Bombable hut in the southwest of Kakariko Village, so 5 quick item checks here, always nice.
Yeah, the major item locations, Blind's Hut, Hype Cave, Mini Moldorm Cave, you kind of really want to find those as early as you can. Was that the big key to Turtle Rock I saw in there? I did see the small key to
Yes.
Thieves Town just outside of the dam there.
Yeah, so another one of those things you might have to hunt for that we have knocked out of the way right away, which is very nice. Hypertype is taking I was going to say taking the flute and checking out a bunch of quick entrances with at flute spots.
Oh, and it looks like you might be going for that Houlihan play now.
Yeah, or at the very least, swim over to check out this drop-down entrance.
Yeah, I think you definitely want to go for those items first, with Kakariko well being there. And then maybe you jump in for the Houlihan route. But he doesn't have any bombs. That's unfortunate. Small key to Meyer, Cane to Samaria, and a Desert Palace compass. See the heart piece over there on the race game. And yeah, Haiku type is going to go for that Houlihan play. I imagine he'll pick up some bombs and then come back here at some point. That is just the one item, but it's still fairly accessible, so.
Yeah, especially with flute, it's not too hard to get to. And yeah, finding a junk item on race game is always nice, just because that's such a hard location to get to. You have to find the proper entrance to lead to the left side of the feuding brothers' house to be able to get that item or mirror from the dark world.
Yeah. And there's always the chance that you'll have to, mirror there anyway just to check what that entrance has. Could be a dungeon of some kind, who knows.
Hypertype just going to YOLO the Uncle drop down since he knows where Ganon is. This is not particularly risky.
Ooh, we got a big key to Tower of Hera, it looks like. Seems good. And the front entrance of Hyrule Castle is a fortune teller. That I've seen that so many times. Get the big chest of Turtle Rock. over at the mini Moldorm Cave. And Raymond is heading down. Wait, when did the glove happen?
The glove was in Waterfall Ferry, I think. I forget where he found that entrance, but I think it was while you were singing the Swag Duck National Anthem, actually.
Ah, right, of course. My bad. So Hycotype is going for the left side entrance, the eyes, and ending up on top of Bumper Cave, which has the big key of Ganon's tower on top of it. Woo! Now that
Also
is
an
an
important-
entrance that you will want to remember, because that's a real tricky spot. You can mirror from that spot to get to another one.
And there's a Spike Cave at the Dark World Lumberjack's hut.
And Hycotype is going into Skull Woods. This is a traditional play when you're in bunny mode, because you can easily get yourself out of bunny mode by just taking a death inside the dungeon. Or a grab. Grab also works.
Cane always nice to have right here. Probably factoring into Hycotype's decision to head in here, since we can do it as quickly as possible right now.
And we pick up one of the dud maps in the game. Just the Ganon's Tower map does you no good whatsoever.
And Ramon found, there is a Palace of Darkness at the Vanilla Ice Rod Cave entrance. Ramon also found a connector at the Desert Rupee Farm. And there's Swamp. Wow.
Wow.
So Dungeon Central over in the Ice Rod area.
And the Blacksmith. So 3 very relevant entrances at the Ice Rod area. Just uncharacteristic of Randomizer, putting all good stuff over there. Though it does help that types of entrances were made irrelevant recently.
Yeah, so the Swag Duck is going to have to lift some extra weight today and carry the dwarf over to that area as well. At any rate, I was trying to say that Ramon also found a connector at the sort of rupee farm outside of Desert Palace. He found the right side of the feuding brothers' hut, so he'll have to head back there later, or at least keep that one in mind, that there's sort of a floating connector there.
Right. Now Ramon has that. Now has the big key of Pod, and he also, of course, knows where that is, so that's pretty important, I would say. Sure have found quite a few big keys so far. And find the exit of Spiral Cave over at the... I don't even know what you call that cave.
Yeah, I just call it before Eastern when I'm taking notes. Yeah, I have
That's
no
a
idea what
good
that thing
cave.
is called.
That's a good call. I know what
I
I
think
call it, but it's no use to anyone.
Yeah, and I think in the spoiler log it's something like Lake Hylia Ferry or something like that. Meanwhile, Ramond also getting that information about the book on the Lake Hylia Island. So that's it's an interesting fetch quest to have hanging around.
Interesting. Now, we did notice the Turtle Rock Big Key. I wonder if anyone's going to go grab that big chest real quick. Oh, hello. Eastern Palace leads to the top of Paradox Cave.
So there's that glove that Hycotype just found.
And unloading the bee, trying to pick up something different from the fairy, gets a red potion. That's pretty useful, especially if he runs across Pod. He can check the right-hand side.
Yeah, since he is probably going to find Pod pretty early, that does open up some options there.
Meanwhile, Ramond is heading up to Death Mountain for the first time. This is a dark room which we assume is likely to be the old man's rescue. But it might not be.
Yeah, I'm confused as well, Ampharos, that Ramon found the top of Paradox but did not check the 7 items in that cave.
Yeah, it can be that is pretty strange.
I mean, at first I thought he was just going to check the other entrances around Flute Spot 5 and then come back to it sort of on his way out, but yeah, he just skipped over it entirely.
Well, we did find Sick Kid, just get 10 arrows from that, so that is done with that. That is the entrance I call Upper Norfair, just off of the combo randomizer.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. That's the only logical thing to call that cave.
And we've got ourselves a hamburger helper. Tells us that a glove can be found in Ice Palace. Well, that's the other glove. We now know where that is. We just have to find Ice Palace and a fire source.
Yeah, that's all.
And probably a hammer.
And maybe a hook shot too. Yeah, the mit's not as vital in entrance randomizer, but they do lock a couple of locations still, so.
I just realized the upgrade fairies in the race game, which I personally like to go in and grab a bomb upgrade if I see it and I've got the money.
Yeah, again, one of those preparation things, just to be sure you
Okay,
are
Ramond is heading back to Paradox Cave. Whew! I was a little worried.
That's good. And yeah, he did find Half Magic at the Pyramid Ferry, which was on one of those entrances you can jump down to from the Spectacle Rock area.
Well, if we needed money, for sure, that is the archery game at the Mire Shed, which is one of my favorite places to pick up money.
Definitely a good find that the left half of the Brothers Hut will lead you to this Mire area, though.
Yep.
Definitely some good options there.
Hycotype finding the business entrance of Spectacle Rock Cave here at the Dark Agena Cave. Turns out to be entirely useless, but this is a location that the bunny can get in logic, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's also a possible connector, as we see Hycotype's going to check this out, see where the left side of this cave leads to, and Raymond finds the blue mail in Paradox Cave.
And we check the middle entrance. We've got... it's Hyrule Castle, or the Aga Tower entrance. Going to be a little difficult to go back through there, so going to have to head over back to Eastern Palace. He wants to check the bottom of Paradox Cave.
Yeah, my AGA 1 requirement dream is out the window now.
Womp womp.
But I think this makes Raymon's decision before to leave Paradox Cave make a bit more sense. I think he wanted to put it off until he was ready to start following connectors through. So he still had it high on his list to do.
Ooh, there's our mirror at the Lumberjack Hut in Sank. That's going to be a very, very quick check. We're just going to grab that and start going nuts with mirror spots.
Absolutely. And so Hykertype's going to be even happier now about knowing where that Meyer entrance is, since that's some prime mirroring location. Also, good news on all the drop downs. That means the Ganon drop down is the ferry from up by the Houlihan drop down. So we will not have to do Aga 2 at any point today. And Lumberjack was also friendly to us, that's not 100% required to be able to do Lumberjack. So drop down's not going to require us to do anything nuts logic-wise.
Alright, so Hykertype finally with some bombs going to check the top of the well. Just 50 rupees, so didn't miss out on much, but there's really no way you could have known that, and I cannot blame him for wanting to come back.
Yeah, especially once he was so close there already. Definitely a smart move to check that out. As Raymond also going to track down his mirror right now.
Alright, so Hykertype is making his way through the Old Man Rescue Cave using a few little tricks. He was initially using the flute to figure out where he was on the room. You can get a little bit of navigation with with which speaker the sound comes out of. But then he decided to start using the red cane, which gives him a little more information, and that's a real quick rescue in the dark with no sword. Seems pretty good. A small key to GT seems good. Notably, with that Cane of Samaria, we do have access to Tile Room.
Yeah, that does open up one more check in Ganon's tower.
And with that small key, you could theoretically move on to the next room. Couldn't do anything in there. Kind of need a fire source, but...
I think this is the first time I've seen Red Cane Tower of Hera before.
Well, there you go. Yeah, unfortunately, Red Cane doesn't do any damage to the boss, so if they had the big key, which... Wait, didn't somebody find the big key of Hera?
Yeah, Tracker says Hykertype. Actually, they both have it, so he could have gone up. I feel like, yeah, without a better weapon and his current magic level, that second room with the weird blue bumper guys was going to be real tough to do.
Well, that one, you can just kind of throw pots at them, fall back down, and then throw more pots. But
yeah, I think he's just thinking for efficiency.
Yeah, I think maybe you see if you can get a sword or something and then come back. Because you can't kill Moldorm with the cane. It doesn't work. You have to have a sword or a hammer.
So Ramond did check the Turtle Rock big chest, just found the Uncle Bombs in there, but he's going to dip a little bit further into Turtle Rock.
Oh, Fire Rod, hello.
That's a good find.
So speaking of the right side of Ganon's tower.
We were speaking of the right side of Ganon's tower, I agree. Becomes a bit more tempting when that turns into 5 checks. Let's see, 6 because you can get to Bob's chest. Well, it's hard.
I mean, you can. It's nothing says you can't. It's a bit of a pain, but yeah, you can do it.
Yeah,
you can
that
theoretically beat Armos. I mean,
yeah.
I wouldn't want to.
Same here, same here. Also, does he have the GT Big Key? Or no, Hycotype has it. But that is available somewhere, so that does open up the big chest in Ganon's Tower as well.
Yeah, the GT Big Key is on top of Bumper Cave, which we saw an exit to. It's actually out of Turtle Rock here, just out of the eye wall entrance. I'm getting the small key to desert. Once again, both desert keys available this early on. Pretty interesting. Still haven't seen desert.
Yeah, or, a weapon of any sort. Ooh, there is Hype Cave, which unfortunately Hycotype can only grab one item for. We'll see if he Super Bunny's here with the mirror.
And for those of you who are unaware, you absolutely can get that item in Hype Cave without, or as the bunny. You can talk to NPCs just fine. Now, Super Bunny wouldn't do you a lot of good, because even if you do have Super Bunny, you can't actually drop bombs.
That's right, I always forget that. All Super Bunny can do is open chests, right?
Yeah, and swing sword. And swing sword.
Alright, so it looks like Ramondi's going to steal this key from the left of Ganon's tower and then head to the right into Tile Room with his newly found red cane, and we'll see how far he goes with that fire rod.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him go for the compass room. Whether he decides to continue past there is kind of up in the... But I mean, I think you'd definitely go for Tile Room here. Oh, hello. Found Hyrule Castle.
Yeah, very nice. Hycotype taking his mirror to that mire area and seeing what entrances he can find here. And inside of Hyrule Castle is definitely a good one. Several connectors, the entire front of Escape, all... Geez, what is that? 7 items? 7 or 8 items? I guess 7 because they've already gotten the Sanctuary one.
Yeah, though without the Hyrule Castle small key, you'd have to choose between the back and Zelda's cell. Oh, Flipper's in Tile Room. What's up?
That's very good. Yeah, save scumming that key is always an option. I guess death scumming more so than save scumming, but especially given that there's only 1 item in Zelda's cell versus the 3 in the back of Escape, that will be a lot more tempting.
All right, over in the right-hand side of GT, we've got the blue cane and the bottle and an ice rod. So both blue magical wands in the same room. What's up?
It's always good. And good to point out, this also resolves the laser bridge problem that's now in logic with the blue cane. Oh my goodness.
Speaking of resolving problems, we just found the Hyrule Castle small key on Desert Ledge. So now we don't have to worry about that. We can just get everything in there, and that is going to make it to where we don't have to go beat Aga 2 to unlock that back end. Aga 1. And today I learned you could mirror to desert from above the mire entrance, as long as mire entrance isn't open.
So Archetype is still going to have to do the escape sequence with just the red cane, but with half magic. Really not too much of an issue, just a little annoying. Meanwhile, Rahman, not surprisingly, is going to chase down these flipper checks. Does have Zora money also, so this will be a very efficient trip through the waterways.
Mm-hmm. And a piece of heart in the boomerang chest. And Ramon just gonna take a quick flute back over to 8 for a slightly faster trip to the whirlpool here. So I guess he's gonna check the central island first.
Yeah, it's an easy entrance to forget about. Ooh, Hookshot Cave. Another connector.
Why do I think I've seen the other end of that already?
Oh, I think we have. I think you're right.
We don't really have any access to any of the items in there, though, so that's a little unfortunate. Nothing particularly useful in the waterfall, so we move on to Zora proper.
Seems like a pretty standard entrance randomizer seed that we're half an hour in with no sword and 4 or 5 hearts. You know, the usual.
Like you do. The blue mail did help. We've got Hycotype going for the dark rooms in Hyrule Castle. That is pretty solid, interesting play. If only he had that fire rod.
Yeah, that would certainly make it easier. A 60%
Zora with a
rebate from
refund.
Zora.
It looks like Hycotype is hunting for that chest in the Dark Cross room, it looks like. Yep, there it is. Ice Palace Small Key.
Yeah, we'll see how he does with the key rat. This is the trickiest part of this in the dark, I think. At least the chest holds still.
Alright, so Ramond is finally going to follow that connector from the Brothers Hut and get into the Misery Mire area as well. So we may see him do some similar play to Hycotype. Hycotype, of course, pulling off the back of escape no problem and finds there's a Turtle Rock Small Key, about the only thing that's of any use there.
Yeah, he definitely made that look easier than I've ever made it look in the dark. But yeah, that Turtle Rock Small Key, not quite what he was hoping for, but not a complete bust, I guess.
Finds the floating
Death
island.
Mountain access.
And another heart, as we were complaining about low hearts earlier. It's like the seed hurt us. That looked like ether.
Yep, that was definitely ether on Turtle Rock.
And we've got a chest there in the in the top of Death Mountain. Gets the Super Bunny pulled off to get that chest. Just 20 rupees. And it is the exit of Super Bunny Cave, so that's where it was coming from.
We'll call that French vanilla super bunnying, I guess.
Okay, so that's the Southwest Death Mountain Fairy Foothills Cave leads to a fairy fountain. That, for those of you keeping score at home, is the cave I was talking about being a tricky entrance where you can mirror from the top of Bumper Cave. So it turns out you don't have to do that now.
Yeah, that's actually a super good hint. Oh, Hecatype finding the top of Super Bunny Cave, while Ramond is heading there from the bottom. We just get a high five here?
I think they both came in the same entrance, actually.
Ah, okay.
They just came in different ways.
Yeah, I lost track of how they both got there. And there's a Desert Palace entrance.
It's about time. And Bumper Cave has a connector there. Need either the cape or the hook shot to get through that particular side.
And again, I think we'll see our runners check. Ooh, Sahasrara here at the normal Paradox entrance. Skull Woods is our green pendant. I was going to say, I think we'll see our runners check out the other entrances here before they dig back into Desert Palace, since there is some forking exits they could take. And the Ice Palace Big Key in Sahasrara's closet.
If I didn't know any better, I'd say you were frustrated by those exits. Anyway, so we find the magic powder and the Ice Palace Big Key in the back of Sahasrara's closet. Turns out Skull Woods having the big key, how do I words? The green pendant, that thing. The thing that Sahasrara cares about.
There finally is our Moon Pearl.
That explains the early Desert Palace Big Key. We've got a bug net on the torch.
And a hint, the Dark Cave near the eastmost portal, I assume they mean the Dark World portal at Flute 5.
That is
leads
correct.
To the potion shop.
Which is nice to know about. If you find a mushroom, you need to know where to pick up your returned item.
Yeah, and that definitely makes that fetch quest shorter also, since it's right on a flute location.
And a bow in the right side of Desert. That's completely in logic, actually, because Ramond found the blue cane to get the Desert Palace small key. Well, actually, the location in Ganon's Tower where you found it, I think you need like 3 GT keys for. That being said, nobody cares about key logic.
Yeah, exactly. Hecatype is still going to be confused about this, since he has not re-dipped Ganon's Tower, so if he's thinking about this, this will not seem
Speaking of re-dipping Ganon's Tower.
Yeah. It's also frustrating since you can't go back into that entrance. We see some divergence here. Hecatype is going to head down, whereas Ramond is going to head back over to the eastern side of Death Mountain and probably just head right back into Desert Palace to check out the main entrance.
The main difference here is that Hecatype knows that Hype Cave is over here. Got a small key to Turtle Rock, 10 arrows, a big heart, and the other mail upgrade. So once Hecatype finds Paradox Cave, he'll be on red mail, and extremely unlikely to die. We did find Spiral Cave at the entrance to Hookshot Cave there. So we very well might see Ramond go for that.
And I think he's heading back to Palace of Darkness now.
Well, Hyketype is heading over to the pod area, but he doesn't even know it's here.
Oh, he hasn't been here yet. Well, he'll be happy he just found the bow then.
He's gonna do a little double take and step outside for a second. Finds Blacksmith. Blacksmith, of course, is one of the few items that does still require that second glove upgrade no matter what you do. At least within the rule set we have. Let me tell you, even doing the overworld glitches version of grabbing the smith is an awful, awful glitch. Alright, Hyketype just going to open the front door even though he has the bow. Doesn't really seem concerned with conserving keys here.
Yeah, it looks like he's sticking to logic in pod, finds the Meyer big key. Because with only one small key, very little of this is actually in logic, other than what Hyketype just did, so...
Yeah, and the right-hand side. I mean, the thing is, without the hammer, you can't proceed down the right-hand side and get around that door. So unless the hammer is over here, he couldn't have saved the key anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to lie, I've seen the hammer over here way too many times.
Especially now that you said it, so we'll see what he finds on this right side of pod, as Raymond is going to dip a little bit further up into Tower of Hera. The rock in the desert leads to a connector, we knew that already.
That's the rock near desert. There's a difference between the rock in the desert and the rock near desert. The rock in the desert is Checkerboard Cave. The rock near desert is the one in the little canyon area. Hey, that's the second castle tower key. And a sword, finally, for Ramond. And a pod key, because there's always a pod key in pod. I believe that is the rule. I don't think it's actually written into the logic somewhere, but it's close.
That's just science. That's
wow. The sword in Tower of Hera. That is... Oh.
In the Tower of Hera big chest.
Because, I mean, you need the sword to beat Moldorm, so it's just like, if you went in here first thing, you're golden. I don't know anybody who would have done it, but
yeah,
good thing for Ramond.
That's going to be really frustrating for Hyketype when he finds that later, because he opted not to go up Tower of Hera, even though he could have. It also might mean it's going to be a while before he finds a sword, because if the game logic sort of intends you to be on that fighter sword for a long time, that means Hyketype is going to be on 0 swords for a long time.
Alright, so Hyketype did just go ahead and save Scum a key there in Desert Pod. No. Did just save Scum a key there in Pod just to avoid having to use it. Saving that key.
Yeah, and these are also some new entrance checks. I don't think we have seen the exits from the old man cave yet.
Yeah, you don't want to forget that exists. Just throwing that one out there. Might have had a situation like that a couple days ago.
Yeah, we've all done some interesting things in Entrance Randomizer. But this is nice. Hyketype finding his way into Village of Outcasts. That's actually really nice to get some fast Dark World access right out of a save and quit.
Hey, and it's the main entrance of Turtle Rock. We also see a hint about the Ice Palace Big Key, though we did already pick it up for both of our runners.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Haiku-type does not have the Fire Rod here, so he's limited to just this first chest.
Which has a vanilla small key.
Oh my goodness.
I don't think anyone's gone for the Chain Chomp room, which is really strange because that sucker's in logic if you can get in the dungeon in the middle.
Yeah. Which he could have gotten to from there. Again, would have been a pain to get through the kill the pokey there with just the red cane, but
Yeah, it would have been possible, but unhappy. So we've got a small key to Turtle, or we've already seen the Hype Cave over here, but Rhonda's going to pick up the red mail. Did you see what that hint was?
It said Mystery Mire leads to Hyrule Castle.
Okay. So I guess one of the entrances they didn't see goes out the Hyrule Castle main or the Mystery Mire main entrance.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where that could actually link to, because if the hint is about the Mire main entrance, I'm sure we saw all of those exits.
Yeah, maybe they just walked out the Mire main entrance and we didn't notice because they had been in Mire the whole time anyway.
Yeah. And we have another bee in a bottle on the digging game.
All right, well, our item receptacles are amassing within the inventory. All right, Stumpsman over here has the hook shot. Hello.
Wow.
All right, Ramon back in the Mire area. And we find Eastern Palace over at Grove Ledge / Cave 45. And Haiku type just kind of noping out for a bit. I'm okay with this because there's more entrances down here for you to check, and you don't have the big key, so you can't actually finish it. And you know that the big key is in Swamp.
Yeah. Which he now knows where Swamp is.
Now, he doesn't have the flippers.
Yeah. Which is a little bit of an issue.
Oh, there's the bottom of Paradox Cave.
And Raymond, meanwhile, has gone to the Mire area and started mirroring around in there, so I suspect we'll see him do the escape sequence now as well, and be equally disappointed as Haiku-type was. I think Red Mail is going to be in here.
Yep. So both of our runners now quite equipped for survivability. So we've noticed the library again. Once again, not holding anything important. All right, so Haiku type now fluting away. This time to 7, it looks like.
This was one of our Turtle Rock entrances, right? Yes.
It's going for that middle chest. I imagine we'll probably see that that chain chomp chest at some point as well.
Yeah, and he's going to find the fire rod right now, and yeah, I suspect he will head backward through Turtle Rock a bit. He's got plenty of small keys to get wherever he needs to go, although moving backwards, you don't really use any.
Yeah, that's the wonderful thing about Turtle Rock is small keys, doors that are locked. I mean, they're only like locked from one side, especially if you're going upstairs into them. I imagine we'll probably see the middle chest here, the lava chest, even though technically in logic you need all the keys. We've found quite a few of the keys anyway.
Yeah. And again, knowing that he's going to save some keys by going backwards, he can definitely afford to use one here.
If you're doing one of these seeds and you find all 4 Turtle Rock keys, it's a fair bet that there's something important in this chest.
Yeah, it just feels like an entrance randomizer, there's always something in Turtle Rock, because there's so many entrances to it. You always find at least one of them fairly early on, usually Laser Bridge in my experience. Oh no, don't mirror yet!
Oh, well, that's kind of unfortunate. But it looks like he's heading to the eyes room, which, as we recall, is the top of Bumper Cave. I hope he was able to interpret that hint correctly and doesn't try to mirror here. Okay. Alright, finds a good old fortune teller there. Now, didn't we find something important at the... Oh yeah, it was Spike Cave. So we'd need the hammer before we can go back up to the Dark Lumberjack Cave there and get something out of Spike Cave.
Oh, here's the Myers Shed at the Dark Chapel.
Alright, 50 rupees and bombs. Again, not what we're looking for, but I'm not going to say no.
Yeah, and Graveyard Ledge is a new check also. The Graveyard Ledge entrance, right?
Right. And of course, the Graveyard Ledge being a place that, can be a bit of a pain to get to when you don't have either the glove, the Titan's mitts, or the boots, but it is possible. And not going to lie, playing this game for the first time, I was like, wait, how in the world do you get up there without these?
Yeah.
Turns out you can go between those 2 little decorations there on the left-hand side.
Very inconsistent which of those you can walk behind and which ones you can't, but...
And Ramond is heading back into Ganon's tower.
Hypertype is gonna Kern jump here.
Uh-huh.
Gets that fake flipper set up on the first try, but nicely done.
I mean, that just looks impossible to me, but then again, I'm just bad.
It's actually easier than it looks, because even I can do it, so it's not so bad.
Interestingly, using it to head over to Dark Shopping Mall, as some of us...
Yeah, the 3 entrances there are very tempting at the moment.
We've got a dark room, which is definitely a connector. I mean, at this point, I think it has to be the Death Mountain Descent Cave. We've seen the other 2. Well, it could be the front of Old Man. There's the other Turtle Rock key.
Yeah, and there's Misery Mire. which I think Hypertype could full clear without a sword, if I'm not mistaken.
I mean,
Keys are an issue, but you know. Oh no, he's got the big key.
Yeah, and you don't actually need any keys to grab everything in here. Yeah, this is pretty big. That being said, I'm not a huge fan of having to beat Vitreous without a sword.
Yeah, and
Or a
without
hammer.
silvers. So meanwhile, Ramond did, I was going to point out, check the last Desert Palace, the main entrance, and it led to King's Tomb, actually. And then is going to go all the way to Ice Armos here and see what he can find in these 4 checks here, plus the one for the big chest.
So, if we're talking about resources for beating Vitreous, I think it's theoretically possible for him to beat it. You would need to toss bombs at the eyeballs so that you could get them each down to 2 arrows a shot and then never miss.
Yeah, I'm sure Hypertype would just much prefer to find a more reliable weapon somewhere in Mire.
So Ramon did go back to Ice Armos, beat them, get the 3 chests behind them. I still don't think he's actually found the big key of Ganon's Tower, which is unfortunate for him, having not gone out the left side of Turtle Rock, which is kind of hilarious because that might be where he's going now.
Yeah, it's gonna be that's gonna be a tilter.
Right, bombs in the worst location in Mire.
So just 2 more checks to make for Hypertype before he decides whether he's going to head toward Vitreous. I would expect he'll opt out of that terrible sounding fight with his current level of equipment.
Oh, we've got a big key to Skull Woods in the big chest of Mire. And the map of Skull Woods, which doesn't really do us any good because we did find that already. Or we got that information already.
Ooh, we're going for it.
Well, he might just be going to hookshot to the chest, but...
Oh, he hasn't hit that chest yet. Okay. That that makes...
Well, I mean, picking up the magic here does look like you're going to go for it, though.
Yeah, excuse me there. Makes more sense.
Oh, boy. Hypertype, you are a braver man than I.
And I don't think he has any sort of magic refill. I think he got that red potion at some point, but... I guess now that I think about it, not that magic is going to help him at all.
So using the red potion now to get through the dark room here. Going to be unable to do spooky time because there wasn't really a setup for it. But and you could set it up in that room, but it's not really worth it, especially in the dark if you're not particularly familiar with it.
Yeah, although not being able to do spooky means he is down one bomb, which actually could be pretty important in the fight he's about to try.
Oh, we found Ice Palace. Hello.
I hear there are some gloves in there.
That is the case. Now, they could be hammer locked, which would be, as they say, unfortunate.
I think one eyeball is dead already?
Not quite.
No.
It takes quite a bit of explosions to actually kill the bombs. I think really the goal here is just to soften so it takes fewer arrows. Oh, there's a miss. Got to be careful. Alright, he should be fine. Just one hit on each of these eyeballs and then 8 to the face.
Yep.
Very
nicely
well done for Haiku type. Whew!
Yeah, it was a very well executed fight with the resources that he had. And luckily rewarded with a crystal. Can you imagine doing all that for the blue pendant?
So we just got some news in Ice Palace. Apparently, the green pendant gives you the lamp today.
Wow. So let's talk logically, because Green Pendant is in Skull Woods. I guess there's not actually a lot of logic to get back to Mothula in Entrance Randomizer.
Yeah. Well, the only thing is technically it's locked behind both Skull Woods keys. That's the only
Right.
logical thing.
Okay.
And the fire rod, of course, which they have.
Well, not even Fire Rod, right? Since the entrance will be somewhere else. Just a sword to...
Well, yeah, but you still need to light the torches on the way to the back.
Oh, the torches, right. Stinking torches. Yeah, we actually found a question in chat. We found back of Skull Woods very early when our runners had absolutely no equipment, so... I think it's in Kakariko somewhere.
It
Not
is Blind
100%
Hut.
sure on that one. Blind Hut, there we go.
There's our glove.
Finding those mitts.
So it was not locked behind the hammer. Meanwhile, Haiku type finding Thieves Town.
And we have the small key, but no hammer, so we won't be able to... oh, and no big key, more importantly. So we'll just get to check these front 4, but good to know where this is, if nothing else.
₹300, and that's it for Thieves Town at the moment.
So we'll see Catfish here, and I don't remember if a Haiku type still doesn't have the flippers, so we'll not be able to chain anything together up here, unfortunately.
I mean, I don't think he's actually checked Zora.
Yeah, so I guess he
could mirror for that.
Yeah, which
I mean,
seems like he's going
that
to...
rock. Lifted that rock for a bomb. It looks like that is a rock I did not know could have bombs. Right. Ramond going for the last item that he can reach in Ice Palace. That is a Master Sword. Feels good. Meanwhile, it looks like Hypertype is going for the Pyramid and East Dark World play.
Yeah, we're still short on pod keys, so really not much else to be done over there, unfortunately. Oh, wait, what am I thinking? That's not where pod is.
Right. But of course, we still haven't seen those entrances. Now, unlike normally when you go to the pyramid, Hypertype is not going to need to mirror at the top because, well, we've already seen the top of Hyrule Castle. Ramond is now inside Skull Woods, grabbing a few items here and and we find the Sea House over at 4 Pod, I guess. And it is Hypertype who has the big key of Skull Woods, and therefore Ramond will not be able to get that item. We do see the Spiral Cave exit once again. Hypertype apparently, with some excellent routing, hasn't actually checked East Light World either, and so can take care of several stones and birds and whatnot. Oh, hello. I see a mini Moldorm cave.
I was about to say, I feel like Link's life would be a lot easier if he just dropped some skill points into lock picking. It would really save a lot of key hunting.
Seems good. Seems like a plan. It'd be interesting if you could add an item to this that was the kind of like in oh, boots.
What
hello.
Are those?
Yeah, add an item to this, which in like in original Zelda, that is just a key that opens all the doors.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So it's kind of unfortunate because Hypertype has been all around that fortune teller's hut over in West Dark World, but just hasn't gone to that hut because it's been otherwise just out of the way, and so hasn't actually gotten the boots because of that.
Yeah, so Ramond is going to give us our first look at these 2 chests on the right side of Turtle Rock.
Yes, there is the other end of Hookshot Cave at Sazrala's hut. It is weird to see Hypertype not just go in there and grab those items, but he does want to make sure he gets Pod opened up.
Ramond doing the hardest thing in this game and remembering to go the right way around this room without hookshot. Oh, there's a
Oh yeah, that is the hardest thing in this game. I completely forgot. Find a Gina's cave over in Pod. We get a shield and a heart container on the right-hand side of Pod, Turtle Rock, and Quake.
Quake, not particularly helpful.
We know that opens up the entrance to Mire, but we know that Mire just leads to Hyrule Castle, so...
I did not know that. Hypertype farming the statues outside of the Eastern Palace entrance. One of them dropped 10 arrows. Very nice.
And lifting up a block to not have to go through that portal. Finds the top of Paradox Cave, which he hadn't been through yet. And I guess he's just going to go for the next one. Or for the middle. Oh no, he's killing some mini Moldworms there.
I'm guessing trying to farm bombs.
Well, if he wants bombs, he can just go to the bottom floor, blow open the shop, and buy them.
That seems to be where he's going right now. Or not. Never mind.
Oh, he's gonna go get an upgrade.
That'll do it.
That's why he didn't go into Hookshot Cave. Oh yeah.
Yep, that would explain it. He did not.
And
do
I guess he
Hookshot
hasn't
Cave
found
he's
the other
smarter
end.
than I am.
He's just fluting to 5. Not convinced it's
'cause he's
not
still got
just
his.
faster to just take the portal there, but sure. Oh wait, no, it's in the light world. Sorry, I'm dumb. I thought it was in the dark world because I'm bad.
Yeah, and he's got no hammer also.
Oh right, I'm double dumb. Okay, so Ramon just finished off Moth while we were paying attention to that, so he did get the green pendant. So whenever he heads back to Sahas Rala, he'll be able to, actually see things.
That's always fun. But let's see what's in Hookshot Cave. 50 rupees.
Well, just a whole lot of garbage. Did get another shield, but not a huge deal. Though I think the presence of those shields actually put the laser bridge in logic. I don't think it was the Cane of Burna that did it. I think it was the shields. Cane of Burna was behind more GT keys.
Yeah, maybe so. Meanwhile, Ramon is going to use those boots to open up a couple of new locations. Finds the back of desert at Bonk Rocks. That's interesting. So he will go ahead and
we did get all those keys, so we can just do it.
He's also going to have the King's Tomb entrance to open up. Also, with that mushroom, we have that potential fetch quest since we know where the potion shop is. I believe down there in the Ice Rod Cave area. Or no, it was at Flute 5. I believe, the cave right above that.
Yeah, in the Dark World. That's the important part.
Oh, that's right, it was the Dark World. So without Hammer, that's a pain to get to.
Well, I mean, you can get there with the flippers as long as you can reach Dark World at all. So Mond isn't in any danger of being locked out of it. I could type. I've never seen a jump to fake flipper from that particular location, but apparently that works as well. And another pendant in desert turns out kind of unfortunate, but did get it done. I mean, if we find the last pendant, we can just pull pedestal for literally no reason.
I think we'd be pulling pedestal because chat loves it, which is a good enough reason, right?
I think that might be correct. Getting the Meyer shed taken care of for Ramond. And Hycotype is actually finally going to go get his tax refund. From Zora over here. Did Ramon check the King's Tomb?
I don't think I saw him do it.
Hmm. Looks like he's going to head for good old blacksmith time. Might be doing digging game first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and this mirror location as well.
And I think Haiku Type's probably suffering from the last thing I did disease. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your brain kind of remembers things in a depth first fashion. You have to unpack that stack of actions. It's like, oh right, GT, that was a while back.
Yeah, it was.
There's that mirror shield. And Ramon gonna go ahead and head south again. He's gonna. Oh, this is unfortunate. He's gonna go into Eastern. He's probably gonna clear out some of Eastern. Then he's gonna go up to Stumpy and get the hook shot. Oh, never mind. He's noping out.
Yeah, he also still doesn't have that big key. But we might be hitting the point where our runners are sort of running out of places they can look. So we see a regular crystal on Ice Palace there. And of course our other 5-6 on Swamp, which we knew about already. Because yeah, our runners have actually found most of the item caves, as nearly as I can tell. Unless I've forgotten some. King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge are the only actual caves we haven't found yet. So there aren't a lot of items to be found by checking new entrances. They're really just in dungeons, I think, at this point.
Yeah, and to my knowledge, we found all the dungeons, so there we go. Haiku Type finally finding the mini Moldorm cave, can be able to take care of that.
Yeah, so we're getting down to the point where it's things like that Eastern Palace dip. Even if you don't want to do it, those 4 or 5 item checks, well, 4 without the big key, in the front might be really important.
Yeah, someone did make the observation that you could have, say, the Swamp Small Key in Eastern, requiring sort of a double dip situation.
Can you imagine, like, Swamp Small Key in Eastern? Oh, there is the hammer.
Hammer
Wow.
time in Skullwood's big chest, which, as we recall, that big key was in Misery Meyer's big chest. So you're gonna have to go into Meyer to get that.
So yeah, that dip into Meyer under-equipped from Haiku Type is looking like the big brain play so far of this seed. Because that hammer is huge. And yeah, gonna find an Ice Palace here in the back of Skull Woods, and with Hammer, we'll be able to clear everything, and he will finally get his first sword an hour and 20 minutes in.
I mean, at this point, if you're Haiku Type, you're wondering if somebody reprogrammed the bot to roll it swordless while you weren't looking.
Yeah, I hate it when people do that to me.
That was a really nice bomb strat for that room.
Yeah, those bombs were very clean. So Ramon picked up the book off of the floating island, which opens up the tablets as 2 more item locations. He is also, with the mitts, going to be able to check the Ice Palace Vanilla entrance. Which, did we get a hint
Interesting.
about that?
I don't believe so. And Saz, Haiku-type picking up the memo about the lamp, though I'm not entirely convinced he'll even go for Moth.
Okay, Ramond opting not to check the Vanilla Ice Palace entrance.
Instead, gonna head to Shopping Mall, which we know contains that Misery Mire entrance. So that will point him in the right direction toward the hammer eventually.
Haiku-type going to go a little bit longer without his sword, following the usual route and going to check that chest on the way out.
Hey, for all we know, the other 2 swords could be up here.
Hey, that's true.
Nope, that's just a red boomerang. Which, I'm fine with having a boomerang. Makes certain strats in GT and other places good. Oh man, if you're Haiku-type, GT has just got to be screaming at you right now.
Yeah, with the hammer, you can clear everything in that basement now.
And there's our hint for Swamp telling us that the graveyard ledge leads to a common shop. Thanks, game, now that we've already done that. Yeah, Ramon went ahead and... Whoa, wait, Ramon, did you not check the Mire entrance?
I think he checked it, but didn't want to go in. Maybe he's gonna go check this other. Nope, he's gonna nope out of there.
That Mire entrance in my notes, of course, is marked down as Meridia. And Ice Tea Room contains a small key to Ganon's tower. I imagine Ramond went for that one because it is one of the few chests you can access without the hammer in Ice Palace. I mean, putting together an entrance rando for SMZ3 would be... I think the answer to that is a thing. Because, there is a door rando for Super Metroid Randomizer, and it actually randomizes all the doors in that game. But kind of connecting them with Link to the Past, that would be a real undertaking.
Yeah, that would be something else, and logically, that would be quite the feat to make all that work properly.
And according to someone in chat who knows what they're talking about, apparently Door Rando in Super Metroid is just busted right now.
Yeah, I'm excited that Multi-World is in sight. It's there's some private betas going on right now, so I'm excited for when that comes out for both Link to the Past and the combo randomizer. So, but Haiku-type meanwhile finishes off Cold Stare, gets that crystal out of Ice Palace, but no particular exciting items in there after the mitts.
So at the very least, we get a hold of that crystal. So a little closer to the goal we are inevitably going for. And off we go. So next, Haiku type will be heading out of Skull Woods. Looks like going back into Thieves Town, or not Thieves Town, Village of Outcasts.
The
Whoa, what was it?
The small key to Swamp Palace is at the mushroom.
Oh, dang. And I guess the mushroom was...
The mushroom was
ice?
in Mini Moldorm, I
Oh,
believe.
Mini Moldorm, right.
So yeah, Haiku type is going to clear out the GT basement, which again makes sense with all of that gear that he has found recently, but that Swamp Small is pretty big, because we know that's going to unlock the Eastern Palace big key, although not yet for Ramon since he does not have the hammer.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty unfortunate if he decides to go back into Swamp to get that hammer, or to get the one chest that's not locked behind the hammer. Unless, of course, for some reason, that key is in that one chest.
Yeah, which would be something. Yeah, neither of our runners actually went into Eastern Palace. They both found it. It's at the Cave 45 entrance, but neither of our runners checked out any of the chests in there. Yeah, there are 2 chests in Swamp not locked by the hammer, but Ramondo has already seen one of those. Yeah, he dipped the first one without the small key.
There's not going to be a vanilla Eastern big key, as we know that it's in Swamp. But still, there could be something in that vanilla Eastern big key chest. Alright, so Haiku type this time going to the right-hand side, grabbing that key, and heading into the left side.
Yeah, now that we have that hammer, let's take stock a little bit. We're not actually sure where all of our crystals and pendants are at this point.
And that is our main problem.
Yeah, we're theoretically looking for the Thieves Town big key. With 3 pod smalls, we can get to Helmasaur if that's all we have to do.
And there is a somewhat vanilla Ganon's Tower key.
Oh, Map of Thieves Town is actually really helpful information for Haiku type.
Yeah, very, very important. Really want to know whether that's a crystal or a pendant.
Yeah, although he does not have the Desert Palace information either, Ramondo only knows that because he went ahead and finished off Landmo to get that pendant.
Yeah, I'm not convinced Haiku type has actually found the back of Desert, to be honest.
Oh yeah, according to our tracker, he has not, so... This is a good time to give a shout out to our trackers here. Tracking Keysanity is hard enough as it is, but also keeping track of which dungeon entrances our runners have found is just one more thing on top of it in this very, very confusing game mode.
Alright, welcome to Randomizer Room, courtesy of Haiku type. Pyramid Drop is just the fairy drop, so nothing important there. Could lead Haiku type to put off going up Ganon's Tower, but that could be a problem later on, who knows. I imagine we will see a check of the Ganon's Tower big chest from Haiku type.
Yeah, so Haiku type's progression that we know of for sure is doing that mushroom fetch quest to get the Swamp Palace small key, which would then give him full access to Swamp, which would then get him Eastern Palace. But But so we'll see if he how much he decides to do before he heads to that fetch quest.
I thought for a second there Ramond was going to... Yeah, looks like he's going to do it. Well, he's certainly changing his mind a bunch. Okay. Doing the mirror, going for the magic bat, which has the shovel. If we recall correctly.
I believe that's right, yes.
And we can go digging for whatever item is there. See what that gives us. Did he go for the big chest?
He did the big chest. Oh,
okay.
No. Wait, not just then. He did Ice Armors and then mirrored out. I don't remember.
I mean, he might have gone to big
before.
chest beforehand. That is something you can do. I just didn't notice. He could have just gone up, grabbed it, and then went back to Ice Armos.
Yeah. Meanwhile, though, Thieves Town is our third pendant, which means I think Hypertype might be in go mode right now. I'm not sure if he knows it.
He needs Swamp Small Key.
No, he does need that Swamp Small Key. And I'm also not sure that he knows what desert is. So he might be unsure about where his last crystals are going to come from.
He did just find Agate Tower at what I'm assuming was the Hammerlocked house in Village of Outcasts. Finds the big key of Thieves Town. So he might get jebaited into heading there.
Yes, Hypertype does need another sword. He will find that when he goes up Hera, as we know, so more of a no mode than a go mode. That's fair. No mode for us, not really go mode for him.
There's the Ice Palace, another Ice Palace small key in the second chest of Agate Tower, and Hypertype has no interest in proceeding because who would at this point? Ramon gonna go turn in the blacksmith and then go ahead. I imagine he might check the second chest in Swamp while he's here, since he's here.
Yeah, you're so close to it.
Yep, that's what he's doing.
This is sort of agonizing, because he needs to be going into Mire, which is here but in the Dark World, right?
Very true. Hypertype, of course, heading over here as well. He'll probably check the first chest in Swamp. Tempered Sword in that chest. So Hypertype will be able to pick up the Master Sword once he gets that.
Yeah, you're not going to complain about that.
He'll also pick up another sword in Hera if he does that. Oh, doing some pod action as well.
Yeah, we'll see how much he decides to do, or if he just wants to go back to Helmasaur right now. Yep.
And when you're still missing the... Oh, okay. When you're still missing the Swamp Key, I imagine he probably intends to do this, and then if it's not there, go look at other things in the same...
Yeah, I agree. This makes sense. You do Helma now, because you know you're going to have to at some point. And then you can take this last key back to the back and get I guess actually all of the back, right? Because assuming he can hammer Yump, he can clear out absolutely everything in here, because he knows the vanilla big key chest is useless. Just 300 rupees, I think.
Now, Ramon is about to go check the purple chest. And he's also acquired the book, so I imagine a Bombos tablet check might be in our future as well. See, a Skullwood small key. That actually puts that lamp in logic. Or could. Actually, I think he's short. Nope, that's both the keys. And a pod key on Bombo's tablet. Pretty nice.
Yep, and Hygotype got through the turtle rooms in the dark. It's made it a lot easier when you have the fire rod, of course, if you care to use it.
Yeah, it can be a little difficult to do with just the fighter sword, too, so we're going to get some hammer shots on Helmasaur's head and Quake for some reason. I think he just kind of fat-fingered the L button there.
Yeah, the quick swap biting him there.
Just bombs on Helmasaur, and that will do it for that crystal. Looks like he's not going to go for the first chest in Swamp.
Like he's also checking out these fetch quests. He's gonna mirror to Magic Bat from the looks of it. Check the Hammer Peg's entrance.
If this is an entrance we have not seen yet. King's Tomb. I'm not actually sure that we've seen the actual Hammer Peg's cave either.
I think we have seen it. I have it X'd off on my list, so...
Okay. And Ramon will pick up the lamp for our viewing pleasure. While Hycotype will go get that shovel. And speaking of shovel, I think we might be seeing the dig over on Ramon's screen. That is a heart container. So interesting note. One of the implementations with the quick swap here, if you don't know, is if you want to switch whatever item you're currently holding to the alternate version of that item, so like the flute to the shovel, the mushroom to the powder, etc., you can hit L and R at the same time, and it will do that for you.
Yeah, the quick swapping definitely takes some getting used to, because it's much faster than switching to that menu screen once you're good at it, which most cross keys runners are, just because it's used a lot more commonly in cross keys than in other modes. But your muscle memory to just hit the start button and swap your items if you've run a bunch of non-quick swap seeds is very, very strong.
The real barrier there is that those of us who are used to just using plain old normal menuing can sometimes use that menu time to think about what you want to grab next. Whereas if you are in quick swap mode, you have to think well ahead of time, what do I need next, so that you can start moving toward it. And that's the sort of thing that not everybody is quite used to.
Yeah, I can barely do it in Super Metroid when there's only 5 things to swap between, so... At most.
So there's that King's Tomb. Apparently, someone had already found King's Tomb by going out the front of desert.
And Hypertype did find the back of Desert also, and just opted out of it since he knows that one is a pendant. Ramon, meanwhile, showing us a textbook first two phases of Trinex with the Tempered Sword.
The Swamp Palace small key is on the Witch's Hut. It's where the mushroom turn-in is. And so you gotta go turn that sucker in before you can do it. And so Hypertype is gonna have to go out of his way to get that turned in, and then again go out of his way to get to the Witch's Hut. Though he does have the hammer, so it's pretty quick. He can just flute over to 5 and take that portal. Ramond finishing off Trinex to get a crystal.
Yep, and Hypertype is finally going to find his Master Sword here.
Oh, and Ramond is gonna go check our good friend the pedestal.
Yeah, that's a sign that he is running out of places to look. Again, his big roadblock right now is heading into Mire for the Skullwood small key, which locks the hammer.
I think it's the Skullwood's big key, but yeah.
Skullwood's big key, yes. So Tower of Hera finished off for Haiku type. He's sort of in that a little bit of Cross Keys boss rush mode. Again, still missing that Swamp small key to really be in go mode, though. But finding that second sword is certainly a weight off his mind, I'm sure.
₹50 on the Ether tablet. And Ramond is going into the back of Escape for the first time, having the lamp. Grab that Ice Palace small key, as well as I believe there was a T-Rock key in the back.
Yeah, I think so. Small key of some sort. But yeah, Haiku type is sort of in fetch quest mode at this point if he's checking tablets, so he's probably pretty close to that mushroom turn-in. Becomes really hard to keep track of how many entrance and entrance checks runners have to make in Cross Keys, but
Haiku type finds that Spiral Cave entrance, is going to go ahead and go for it. I don't believe this was actually cleared out by Ramond when he found it. I think he just pieced out.
yeah, I think the Ramond ended up accidentally going out an entrance out of Ganon's tower or something that he couldn't get back to where he was before, and so left Spiral Cave behind.
Well, that's the Bombos medallion, which is very nice for beating things up. Ramond heading back over to 6. Haiku type looks like he might be heading for Trinex here. Now, I don't know if this is the case in Entrance Randomizer or not, but in the vanilla randomizer, when you see a hint that says "in Swamp Palace," it means not left side. And if it's going to be left side, you would get a specific hint saying West Wing. So in the entrance randomizer, turns out that's not the case. Now that being said, so the hint of the form, the Eastern Palace Big Key is in Swamp Palace. That can mean anywhere but Argus. But you could find a hint that says the West 2 chests in Swamp contain X and Y, and that would tell you what's there, I believe. But that's a different type of hint. All right, Haiku-type heading into the Dark World again. See where he decides to go from here. Ramond heading to the right-hand side of Pod. Gonna clear out quite a bit of Pod here, I imagine. But of course, without the hammer, we'll be unable to do much more than this.
I forget, did Haiku-type actually go back and clear out the back of Pod after defeating Helmasaur?
Don't believe so.
Again, we know there's not progression back there, but that's another place he might opt to go to since there is a decent concentration of checks, although I guess they're not all in logic at this point with the number of Pod small keys that he's found.
I mean, he did just find another one, so I think a good portion of them are now in logic. He's probably feeling a little bit, roller coaster of emotion there as he sees the small key fall from the sky, which is what he's looking for, and then he's like, "Aw, wrong small key."
Yeah.
We find a connector here at the left side of the Bonk Rocks in the Dark World. I think this has got to go to Dark... oh, no, it's the... Okay, we saw that. I'm dumb. It's the dead end. We did see the Ramond find the dead end earlier.
Right.
I don't actually think we've seen the ledge on East Death Mountain in the Dark World. Where Turtle Rock's connections would be?
I think we saw that because when when they sort of high-fived in Super Bunny Cave, I think Ramond mirrored from that ledge and dropped down. Ooh, silvers are in the Pod Big Chest.
Ooh, very nice. That is a non-trivial gain in terms of items, and it might make him more likely to go to Stinkin' Mire.
Yeah. Or do you mean the ledge that connects like the Mimic Cave entrance? And
yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Ah, okay, yeah. I don't think we have seen that one yet. You're right.
I think it's probably at the other end of that fairy
door.
connector we just saw in Light World Link Bonk Rocks. All right, I think we found all the dark rooms now. Bumper Cave goes to it? Oh, okay, that would also make sense. We did find Bumper Cave, and we haven't seen the other end. Yeah, there.
So
You get a lot of time to buffer the hammer jump,
yeah,
especially if you come from the top. Like if you come from the top, you get literally all day. Okay, maybe not literally all day, but you know what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, Haiku type is going to get debated into the back of Thieves Town. That is, he's going to be able to check all the items here, but we know it doesn't contain that precious small key to Swamp Palace that he's looking for.
yeah, it's definitely a good idea though, because with 4 items that you can pick up in the back, plus as soon as he leaves here, he can mirror to the potion shop and turn in the mushroom. So yeah, it's unfortunate that he's doing it in this order, but it does make sense from his perspective that you do the part of this trip with the large number of checks first, obviously.
Speaking of right moves to make, Ramond is heading over to Dark Shopping Mall, heading to that Misery Mire location. He did just check the map. He's like, so is this a pendant or a crystal? And he doesn't know, but he's going to find out. And Ramon's setting up for what appears to be the standard fast strats here in Mire 2.
Yeah, it gets all those whiz robes on the first cycle, which is the most important thing. And I was going to say, with the gear that he has, the silver arrows and the lamp, he's going to get through the basement of Mire a little bit faster than Haiku-type did, so he's got that going for him.
Yeah, he's going to have very little trouble getting there. But then we all have to wonder, how long is it going to be before he heads over to Skullwoods to get the contents of the big chest? Now, the good news is, once he gets the contents of the big chest, he can go to the back of Skullwoods and finish Ice, which will more than likely be his play. And then I think he will know that he's potentially in go mode anyway. Or at least, go to Swamp Palace and get the big key for Eastern mode.
Yes. Which is where Haiku-type is going to be pretty fast, and Haiku-type is also going to find his tempered sword in that second chest in Swamp Palace. So his Ganon fight will be pretty fast. He's probably within about 10 minutes of finishing at this point.
Slightly off script there on the last phase of Blind, but no real problems. Taking him down, gets that heart and a pendant to go with it.
Oh, Haiku-type, what are you doing? No!
He didn't even turn it in. That is unfortunate, as I imagine he may end up clearing out, say, Skull Woods and Desert Palace as part of this. Oh, he's doing a dig. So he is thinking fetch quest, just the wrong one.
I mean, it is, again, easy to get back there. You can just flute right there, but...
Oh, he's doing it. And a quick flute over to 5, I imagine. Yep. So this is going to be big news for Haikutai.
And we'll fill up on a blue potion here as well that he probably won't need, but never hurts while you're in the area.
Alright, so the next thing he does, I imagine, is head directly to Swamp Palace, because he knows that big key to Eastern is in there. He will undoubtedly pick up the Tempered Sword while he's in here, because you basically want to check everything until you find that big key.
Yeah, so Haikutype himself is in no mode at this point. That we've got the Eastern Palace big key to find, which is somewhere here in Swamp. And ZSR Bot telling us in chat that Goomba90 has just finished this qualifier, not on the restream, with a time of 1:57.16. Pretty good time. Sub 2 on a cross keys is outstanding.
I'm gonna say no one's actually surprised by that, but he did get it done. And Ramon finishing off Vitreous, no problem there. Much quicker fight than Haikutype, but Ramon still has to go get that hammer.
Yeah, so we'll see if he's tempted by that Skullwood's big key, or if he's got other things he wants to check out first. And looks like he's taking a little bit of time to think.
A big 20 in the south chest of Swamp. Big heart, and looks like Haikutype is going to skip left side for now. Which, I mean, if you're just looking for one item, does seem like a reasonable play.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Avoid left side if you possibly can under any circumstances.
Now, Ramond not heading directly to Skull Woods. See where he heads instead.
Uh-oh, he's gonna dip
Eastern.
The
Oh no. There's the Skullwood small key. There's the Ganon's Tower. Small.
Again, percentage-wise, this is a play that makes sense. You're going to get 4 checks in here, but just unfortunately not the right one to make.
And meanwhile, I'm pretty sure we can say with some reasonability that the left side of Swamp actually contains the Eastern Palace big key. As Amazing Amphoros recently stated in chat that Argus would have a different hint if it was there. Very nice double fire rod spin to take down Argus. Also the poke dashes to just take down the puffs as well, real early on. Haikutype.
Oh, did he not
What
see
are
the
you
hint?
doing?
I don't remember where this hint was, so...
Maybe he didn't see the hint. Maybe he doesn't remember the hint. This is
That-
unfortunate, though. He will, at the very least, get the silvers out of this, so not a big
Yeah.
deal.
I don't think that will quite make up the time he's going to spend in here, but it won't be a major time loss.
It was the Chia Pet hint, then? Okay, Ramond once again avoiding Skull Woods. Unfortunately, so this is still going to be a toss-up before people find what they're looking for.
Yeah, this is where in Cross Keys it just becomes so hard to keep track of everything that you haven't checked yet, since it's just spread out all over the place. Ramon getting distracted by his cape to check out this bumper ledge exit.
Yep. And of course, for those of you who are unaware, you can just go through that without the hook shot. And of course, it was right, that did lead to this Turtle Rock ledge. Turns out nothing important there, which you couldn't already get to. Well, we do need to see the Mimic Cave.
Alright, Hycotype is going back into Swamp. And there is our last item location that we haven't seen yet, the Graveyard Ledge Cave.
Big 20.
I guess we have not seen what's in the back of Spike Cave yet, but our runners know where it is.
Yeah, and there really is no reason to go check that. Alright. Vermond once again fluting to 1. If you're a fan of Vermond, you really hope that he checks out the left side, or heads over to 3 at some point. He's going to check the basement of Hera. Quite a bit of a time loss, unfortunately. I mean, I'm guessing Hycotype was in pod because he forgot about the hint for Swamp, or maybe he was under the impression that it couldn't be left side, which is the case in Vanilla Randomizer, but not in this version. I mean, yeah, it's definitely a unappealing check for Ramond. I can definitely see why he's skipping it. It is, however, sadly what he's got to do.
Yeah, in my mind, it would have been tempting to just duck up there while he was on his way to Cave 45 for the Eastern Palace entrance, since he was in Village of Outcasts, but it's a lot easier to say that from my perspective, knowing that the hammer is in there. And there is that Eastern Palace big key, and Hycotype is officially in go mode.
Mm-hmm. So this will be probably just the quickest Eastern clear, followed by a direct route to Ganon. I could see this being like 212. Maybe even shorter than that. Oh no, Ramon is going for the top of Ganon's tower. Hypertype using some cape strats to get through the marble room. I imagine the next thing he'll want is the bow. Oh, no, fire rod, yeah. That makes sense because he doesn't have the lamp. He's going to want to be able to see his way in the dark room. The lamp was on Saha's Rala, the green pendant turn in, and Hypertype decided, nah. And very nicely done Landmo one cycle for Ramond. Unfortunately, kind of still heading the wrong direction. And it's Armo's time. 6 silver arrows landing in Armo's face. And another heart, sank heart today, for a good 18 hearts on the seed. As tends to be the case, you said 30 minutes in you have no hearts and no sword. By the end of it, you have 18 or 19. That's how cross keys works. And Hypertype going directly to the Ganon fight. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. We might see like 211 here. I think sub 210 is still out of the cards, but it's pretty close. Though I could be completely wrong. Sub 210 might even happen. I don't know. It's close. Depends on Ganon teleports. Oh, and we see a real quick finish from Top Life, coming in at 209.35 in second place. And Hypertype gonna just barely miss the sub 210, it looks like. And there we go, the finish time with 210.01.
So get your GGs in chat for Hypertype there. Third place, a very respectable finish in this race. Just getting sniped out of second.
We'll see if Hypertype cares to join us for this glorious celebration of ridiculous routing. And there we go. Sounds like we are joined by Hypertype. Congratulations on that run. Very, very well done. And a pretty great time to...
Yeah, could have gone better in a couple different ways. So the early game wasn't great. I was not happy with the way the sequence went there. Not getting bombs, and then the mirror after the mire area.
Right.
And then late game, that was not smart what I was doing, clearing entrances instead of going for items. I had already I don't run a spreadsheet that counts entrances, and in this race, it would have been, I think, extremely valuable to me. I should have been going for items at the end there instead of clearing the South Dark World, because there just weren't many item caves left. I think I didn't see Mimic Cave, but that might have been it. So I should have had that key earlier for Swamp. And then the check on pod was a little bit of a metagame on the finish, the early finish, because I thought it was more likely someone would full clear pod than do left side Swamp. Silver arrows mitigated that time loss a little bit, but
Did you? I thought there was a hint saying that the Eastern Palace Big Key was in Swamp Palace. Was I?
If there was, I didn't get it. I was skipping hints towards the end. In the end game, I don't think hints are that valuable.
I thought it was fairly early though. We're being told it was the bush guy that doesn't cost any money.
Oh, then I did get it and forgot about it. That would have saved a lot of time.
We were wondering about that.
Though, because I was still looking for. I mean, that didn't save. I mean, that really only saved the pod trip,
right?
Which was
the
real by silvers.
The real time save would have been if you'd somehow got turned in the mushroom real early and gotten that.
Yeah, of course, I should have done
Swamp Small Key was there, and that's kind of a really annoying place to have to get it anyways. I mean, at least you had the hammer so you could get to the witch's hut relatively quickly.
I mean, that flute 5 is fine. You're just going through a portal and you have the flute, so that's not too bad.
The reason I mentioned that is because the other guy on Restream Ramond here just now found the hammer.
Yeah, As bad as I was feeling about the early game, when I got the hammer and went into ice, I felt that it was there was a reasonable chance people could do hammerless Ice Palace, and that would have been terrible. And got the hammer real late, so I knew that could have happened. Didn't happen to a couple people, but
yeah.
So okay about that.
Seems like the big play was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Okay, so let me ask you: did you ever think, for 1 second, when you saw where the lamp was, about going for Moth?
No, I mean, I had done the hardest dark rooms, so there was just no reason to do that. I had fire, had done the hardest dark rooms, and that meant Moth was only worth 1 item plus the potential for pedestal. So, I mean, that made me not want to do Moth. Although that might have been my next play if I had not found the Eastern, the big key in Swamp. Because again, I was metagaming the finishes, trying to decide what people would have done early to have a sub 2 time. Like I wasn't going upstairs GT. That would have been last.
Seems real. Seems legit.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Cool. Speaking of those hard dark rooms, I feel like the big spot where you got ahead of Ramond at least was making that early mire dip and fighting Vitreous on very low equipment. I think it was no sword at all. Actually, do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, going in there, I knew that I was not 100% sure that 10 bombs and 30 arrows was enough. But I'm pretty sure that bombs do... What is it? He has... The little eyes have 48 hit points. You hit them with 8 bombs, you're going to take away 16, so they do 2 apiece. So that would have meant 2 arrows for each of the 9 eyes, and then 8 for Vitreous. So I was pretty sure it was enough. And then I was considering leaving myself a bomb or 2. But I think I only had 9 going in, and 8 would have been the minimum to save some arrows. But I really wanted to save one, and it really came back to bite me later when I found Hookshot Cave and had to run around to get the bomb upgrade.
It wasn't too terribly bad because you were able to get there quickly out of the Paradox Cave.
Yeah, I forgot about the connection to. I was messing around farming bombs on the overworld for a minute there until I was told, wait a minute, I can just go to the upgrade fair. It's right by the Paradox Cave entrance.
You did a better job than me because I was just sitting there thinking there's a shop inside Paradox Cave that has bombs, but you actually went all the way through and just got the upgrade, which is better.
I was also low on arrows, and at the time it was maybe my best weapon, maybe other than Fire Rod, but so that was an easy decision. I mean, I did think about the shop, but only for a split second.
Yeah, and your execution in this seed without a sword for so long was just kind of ridiculous. There was so many swords
I didn't feel great
available
about
at the
it.
end. But
yeah, I didn't feel
you
great
need
about my execution. I was getting bopped around a little bit. But I mean, I've played Entrance enough, and when you play Entrance, you don't start with a sword, so you can be anywhere without a sword for a long time.
Yeah, and I imagine that getting bodied occasionally is just the sort of price you pay for playing Entrance so much. It's just gonna happen occasionally. You just got to know how to deal with it and what to do with it.
Yeah, early on there was not a lot of health, despite finding the the well early. So I was walking through the Spectacle Rock Cave drop as a bunny with 3 hearts, and that was unpleasant.
That sounds like an actual nightmare, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And the other thing I'm just now remembering is the Mini Mortem Cave. As I walked into it, I thought, all right, well, I'm really late to this cave. As long as it isn't Boots in here, I'm fine. So, of course, it was Boots in the right chest.
And of course, the mushroom was in there as well, which turned out to be pretty important.
Yeah, I actually I forgot to track the mushroom. So I forgot I had it for a little while, but I don't think I would have turned it in too much earlier.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Yeah, it was the Thieves Town dip was about the only time you could have done it a little bit earlier, but
yeah, just mirroring right outside Thieves, I would have done it there. So it cost me, a flute or something.
I mean, I guess it must have been pretty nice to get the flute so early in this. You at least have some mobility in the seed.
That was Link's house, right?
Yep.
Yeah, right away. Yeah, and maybe I said this already, but the start was just sort of disjointed for me. Usually I count on getting drops for those kills when you go to the area north of Lake Hylia, and I got nothing out of that. I got nothing out of the pool tier, so that's why I broke off Kakariko and did the Houlihan, and I don't like doing that.
And of course, that also led to you having to double dip the well there, which was slightly unfortunate. We noticed that.
A lot of people open with Link's house, fake flipper to the witch's hut, fake flipper to that drop. And the reason I do mine differently, or a part of the reason, is I'm trying to get bombs before I go in that drop. So I was really annoyed that I went all over the world before going into that drop and still didn't have a bomb before falling. I route specifically to have a bomb for that drop.
That seems pretty legit.
And sometimes it's the nature of randomizer that the seed's just like, nope, we're gonna screw you over anyway.
Yeah. I never found the Turtle Rock ledge. I'm guessing Hyrule Right maybe leads to that.
It's a bumper cave.
Bumper, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I never took that. Didn't have things to go through it at the time.
Yeah, that was basically it.
Yeah, Spike Cave was on my mind. Never did that.
No real reason to once you found that swamp key.
Yeah, but that might have been one of my cleanup checks at the end there. I don't know. The end, I think I said this already. The end felt really bad checking entrances. I should not have done that. Should have gone for items and then dungeons.
Well, I mean, you still ended up in third place overall with a time that kind of makes me want to stop playing because I'm never gonna get there. But
yeah, I'm guessing the hammer is the big problem for a lot of people that haven't finished.
Yeah, the hammer is a real issue. That whole Misery Mire dip early. I feel like I probably would have dipped Misery Mire, but I don't think I would have finished it. So, real good on you pulling that one off.
Yeah, I did consider leaving because I was 90% sure I had enough to kill Vitreous. Would have felt real bad to use everything and have to leave anyway.
So we see Ramon picking up the Eastern Palace big key there.
Does that go
so
mode
he should
for
be
him?
finishing soon. Yep. So is there anything else you'd like to say about this seed, Haiku type, or any other advice you'd like to give people?
No, I went over it. I mean, I was maybe the other thing I was a little too aggressive on connectors early. I like to take those short connectors no matter what, whether I have the pearl or not. But in general, it's a bad idea to take connectors when you don't have at least the pearl, or the mirror, preferably both. And that would have saved me probably a few minutes, actually.
Yeah. All right. So Ramon,
Anyway,
gonna go ahead.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
gonna go get something to eat, and thank you for the interview, and good game, everybody.
Yeah, congrats on your third place finish.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Ramon heading into Eastern. Gonna go ahead and finish this out, and we will be done with this shortly. That's gonna give him a time roughly in the 2:30 range, which I'm, what I would still be, super happy with a 2:30. We've had Gus finish in 5th place with a 2:24.22. And Ramon heading to the back of Eastern. Gonna go ahead and clear this out. Has a much easier time of this due to the, being able to see thing.
Yeah, also having Eastern last is sort of nice. He'll be able to replenish his arrow stock heading into this Ganon fight as well.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of arrows under the pots here, heading back to Armos. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've done one of those entrance randos for Ocarina of Time rando, and it is a real mess. And it might have taken me 12 hours. Because I'm bad. So there we go. One final crystal for Ramond. Wait, I don't think he's done ice. According to the tracker, he hasn't.
Oh, well, it's not so bad. Again, it's an easy transition from that ice palace at the back of Skull Woods is where the entrance is.
Fred Coughlin coming in 6th place with a 2:24.48. Well done to him.
And at least
That sounds good.
Full Go Mode Ice is pretty fast.
Yeah, just get in there, do a bomb jump, go bust up a frozen dude. I do wonder where that last sword is.
Yeah, let's see. What haven't we seen?
Well,
I
there was
guess-
that one item location we were talking about.
Yeah, the Mimic Cave item. Nobody went to back of Spike Cave at any point. But I think that's about it.
Yeah, so not much left there. We did see all of Thieves Town. We saw all of Mire, all of Turtle Rock.
I mean, Haiku Type opened 190 chests, and that's not counting stuff like the, bug net on the Desert Palace torch. That was, 4 checks upstairs in Ganon's tower that he didn't do, but Raymond did.
It also doesn't count some other, like, out in the world locations like the race game, Zora Ledge, things like that.
Yeah.
Also, I think Ganon's Tower Torch, things
Right.
like that. So, whole bunch of shenaniganery. Library, that was bombs, whole bunch of junk. There's Recidador coming in 7th place with a 227.54.
Also, like the pod big key chest that he save scummed would not show up in that count. So yeah, not a lot of places left for that 4th sword to be.
Yeah, it's just probably Mimic or Spike then. Alright, Ramon heading into the lower area of Ice Palace, dealing with those Pain Gators, and we will be heading to Cold Stare shortly. Just gotta head through the actual final boss of this dungeon, which is the stairs.
I always think of ice physics as the final boss of this dungeon, but an Illis finishing in 8th place, 228.54.
Because casually, those stairs are actually like an actual nightmare.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
if you don't know what's going on, it's like, why can't I go down the stairs? And it is due to the ice physics, of course. So
yeah. And
so
the
they're
game's like,
both,
sorry, you're off by 1 pixel. No stairs for you.
and getting Cold Stare in the corner, applying some fire directly to the face, and that's going to do it for Ice Palace. Ramon now has the 7th crystal and can go fight Ganon, which I imagine will happen shortly.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody puts Cold Stare in the corner, but that's not true. Everyone puts
Everyone puts Cold Stare in a corner. That is correct.
And Super Din Taylor coming in 9th place, just over 230.
Well done. And we will see Ramon probably finishing in just a few more minutes here. Another couple minutes to take down Ganon, and still a very, very solid time of 232-ish, 233, what we're looking for. Nice spin off the trident to get the 1-in-1 cycle here.
Every time I watch someone else do a Ganon fight, I realize how terrible I am at this game.
I know what you're talking about. Oh, actually didn't manage to get the 1 cycle for the second half, but still managing to get into the 3rd phase here. Letting a little bit of fire go loose, so gonna have to be careful to not get too destroyed here. And on to phase 4. Definitely found the silver arrows in pod. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Got it. That's it.
Very nice triple setup.
Finishing off Ganon. And the final official time coming in with approximately 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 14 seconds. Congratulations to Ramond. 10th place. You know, among a field of what, like 20, 25?
Yeah, I'm not in the SRL, so I'm not sure how many people are in there, but yeah. Nicely done from Raymond. Din telling us 24 in the race after 2 forfeits.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ramond is just on his way. Should be here in a minute or so.
All right. Yeah, just got to get him into the ZSR server so we can talk to him.
Yep, drag him in here, kicking and screaming if we have to.
So this is a good time to point out there are still 3 more qualifier races, and then that will set up the bracket stages for the second part of this tournament. So plenty more cross keys racing action if you didn't get enough today. And we've been doing one a day on the qualifiers, right? So there should be one each the next 3 days. I'm not sure of the times on any of those. I can find those in the Discord though.
Yeah, so it's 1 tomorrow evening, 9 o'clock Eastern, 1 a.m. UTC, and then same time again on Friday. That one's on Speed Gaming, and then final one's going to be on Saturday, again in the evening, 6 o'clock Eastern, 10 o'clock UTC. And Rond is here. Hello.
Hey, hi.
Welcome
Hello,
and congratulations
GG.
on that finish.
Well, thanks, GG.
Pretty solid time. I mean, the only thing that really got you there was that hammer for days.
Yeah, that really hit me in the heart.
It was, of course, locked behind the trip into Meyer, which we noticed you found Meyer earlier and decided, you know what? No.
Yeah, I don't know. I had the feeling I didn't want to go in without the big key. I had bad experiences with that the past few seats. That's why.
You didn't have the big key at that point. I see.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and it would have hurt you because the big key was definitely locking that other big key, which was the important one for that hammer. But yeah, you were by far the first one to find the swamp small key. Hiketype over here took quite a bit of time to turn in that mushroom. So, you know, different things trolling different people. It happens, you know?
Yeah, that was like the Dark World, Overworld part. I thought a long time about how to route it. And I mean, you probably noticed I missed some entrances. I just forgot to check them. So I had to go back to them later. I basically made, I think, 1.5 rounds through the whole overworld, and only later after when I was in Southeast Dark World, I realized that the potion shop was in that cave, in the dark cave south of Pod, which was a hint. So I thought maybe if I take the whirlpool up to Catfish, and then I could give the mushroom. I mean, turn in the mushroom and then directly get the item from the potion shop on the way down. That was like a very instantaneous decision, which I think I'm glad I did because I think it was faster overall.
Yeah, that does seem reasonable, especially without the hammer. With the hammer, of course, it would have been just faster to, flute to 2, then flute to 5.
Yes, right.
But without that, you had a bit of a process to do. Really heads up routing there. But yeah, this is the kind of time that I would be aiming for in a cross keys like this. 232 is it might be better than I've ever done in cross keys. I don't know. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, at the beginning of the seed, I felt quite comfortable actually. I did find early progression pretty quickly. Yes, I did actually have quite a good feeling throughout the seed until I couldn't find that hammer, and then I almost lost location, did I think?
Yeah, the seed was very generous early on with those item locations, but yeah, it sort of stalled out a little bit in the middle, unfortunately.
I do, however, feel like the hammer being your quote go mode item there, even though it wasn't technically go mode, but it was close enough. At least made it to where it kind of cut off a lot of locations that would normally bait you into going there. Like you never had the need to go to left side Ganon's Tower, anything like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I also kept Ice Palace for last because I wasn't sure yet which the last pendant dungeon was, and I was still missing Thieves Town Big Key, so I wasn't sure exactly how to route the last few dungeons.
Right. Though the fact that Ice Palace was up there at Skull Woods probably made it just that much less likely that you were going to go for the Skull Woods big chest right there at the end.
Yes, I also need to admit I kind of forgot about Skullwood's big chest for a long time. I think up until after I did GT, the top of GT.
Yeah, it is reasonable to forget about Skullwood's big chest because it's so. I mean, you've done all Skullwoods in your head. You're just like, oh, I've done that. I'm out. Don't worry about it. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, somewhat like that.
Yeah, but I was thoroughly impressed with what I saw on your screen most of the time. It was pretty solid gameplay all the way throughout.
Oh, thanks.
Cool, Papa, you got anything you want to ask? I feel like I've been hogging the mic here.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I think we pretty much covered it, so congrats again on the finish.
Yeah, thanks, and thanks for the commentary and for the restream. That's also my first international restream.
Ah.
Well, glad to have you
for
on.
coming on in.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, so once again, I want to thank both of our runners, Type and Raymond, for putting on an excellent show. And I want to thank our trackers, who were the best. Siberian and iBot, taking care of the things on the screen that let you know what's going on and let us know what's going on, because I'm not going to lie, I'm bad at tracking things.
Yeah, especially as you said earlier, this mode is just, there's so much to take hold of, really. So, yeah, it's a massive help.
Yeah, we absolutely could not do it without the trackers, especially for cross keys.
Mm-hmm. And once again, I also want to thank my commentator. Why can I not words today? Cool Papa Bell, 2282. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely, I had a great time. Great working with you.
All right. And I guess I'll just throw it over to Din for the sign-off here as our resident ZSR admin. Take care of this mess.
I don't think I should be trusted as an admin. That's probably a bit beyond my pay grade of whatever I earn. Oh wait, that's 0. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thanks everyone for joining us. Yeah, we have got more cross keys coming up. 3 more qualifiers. over the next couple of days. And yeah, more races still to come as well. We've got a schedule on the website, so if you're interested in more runs, that is the place to look. And yeah, goodbye for now, I reckon.
See you later, everybody.
Bye. Thanks for watching.